Okay, so I took off the cooler, and there's the 3900 XT. I'm going to pull this out and put back in, finally, the 5600X. Alright, and there is the 5600X in place now. Hopefully the BIOS update works. Okay, wanted to show you success where I was able to post, and here's my 5600X 6-core processor now on this motherboard, which is pretty sweet that the BIOS fix worked for this. So this is the outcome. It looks like the Jonsbo with the Noctua fan actually performs quite a bit better than the Noctua NH-L12. I have a feeling that it's maybe the extra heat pipes, or maybe the density of the fins, along with the fan that's being used here doesn't kind of cover the whole radiator, so there's kind of a sense of maybe it's not as efficient in being able to really cool. So right now, preference-wise, I like the aesthetic of the Noctua cooler, but the performance of the Jonsbo, it seems like it's much better. Maybe this is the fan I would be moving forward with. I'm going to try the 5800 3D. I know it's supposed to run at 105 TDP. This 5600 runs at 65 watt TDP, so it's significantly smaller, I guess, compared to the 5800 in the amount of heat it can generate. I have the sense, given this small form factor, the 5600X is probably the better chip to move forward with, so I can keep, or so I can at least use the whole chip as opposed to kind of having it constantly throttle. Let me go ahead and try the 5800. I think I'm going to go straight with the Jonsbo and then kind of get the sense of whether or not it can even handle the thermals. And then I will try the Noctua and then see how that works. So this is the score for the 5600X 12410 running Firestrike Extreme. You can see that the Noctua cooler only got to about 68.63 degrees Celsius. GPU highest temperature it got to was 71.49, significantly lower than 12 cores. So this is just 6 cores compared to 12. Now there seems to be this pitting that occurs. Not sure why, but we look like 4.6 gigahertz roughly. About the highest that this gets, which makes sense. The chip should get to about 4.7 max. The other thing I ran was the CPU profile. See the score for max threads and 16 threads dropped down significantly, but it looks like maybe these others picked up a little bit. Max temperature, maybe 72.38 degrees Celsius. And again, we have the 4.637, 39, 37, 4.637, yeah, around 4.6, a little bit over. Now for the fire strike, if you remember, this is the Noctua cooler in the 5600X, and this is the Noctua cooler in the 3900 XT. Do a compare against these two real quick. You can see in Fire Strike, looks like 12 cores helps quite a bit for the physics score, as well as the physics test. But everything else, very, very small change, pretty much exactly the same. Score is off by maybe about, not much at all actually, 80 or so. Let me take a look at the CPU and compare that. So this is the CPU profile with the Noctua coolers. Oh, let me remove these. Yeah, this is no surprise. So 12 cores, you can definitely have a higher max thread score, as well as 16 threads. Obviously with 6 cores, you can only get 12 threads. But for 8, 4, yeah, starting here at about 4, 2, and 1, we get about 25% increase, 24, 24.5, 24.1, 24.5, and 26% increases. It looks like if you were gaming, this would probably be the CPU you would want, as opposed to if you're doing some sort of productivity or something that needs multiple threads. You probably want the 12 threads or the 12 cores. Yeah, this is the 3900 XT and this is the 5600 XT. That's interesting. Well, let me go ahead and swap out the cooler for the Jonsbo with the Noctua fan and see how that looks. All right, there's the Noctua cooler pulled off. Cleaned up the CPU as well here. And then there's the backplate that came with the motherboard. Had to definitely remove the GPU to kind of access things. I'm going to put back the Jonsbo cooler, and then see how that performs with the 5600X. All right, and we got the Jonsbo cooler back in place. Got to put the GPU back and then run the benchmark. Just wanted to show you how much of a gap there is. You can see that this cooler has a little bit of a gap between the plate here, side plate, where the Noctua cooler actually just bumped right up against the plate. So you can see how much clearance you have. This is my 3D Mark score for, or Fire Strike score for the Jonsbo cooler on the 5600X, 12483. Max temperature 65.25, and then the GPU max temperature is about 69.96. Let me pull up the other test. CPU profile benchmark. For the 5600X, and then the Jonsbo cooler. 70.75 degrees Celsius. The other thing to notice here is that it seemed to peak more closer to the max that the CPU can hit. So it's around 4.64 pretty consistently. So This is able to keep the CPU cool enough so that way it constantly boots up to kind of the highest speed it can. Let's see, let me do the comparison. So for Firestrike, this was the Noctua, and then this is the Jonsbo with the Noctua fan on the top. Yeah, and it seems like the Jonsbo cooler, I think it's maybe the extra heat pipes. It can seem to dissipate a little bit more, but it's pretty marginal. It's not like anything significant here. This could be just error, but it does show that it's seems to be kind of consistently on the tests scoring a little bit higher. Let me compare the CPU score. Okay, this is the Noctua cooler. This is the Jonsbo. It's pretty interesting. So it looks like Noctua cooler scored a little bit higher. Kind of a mixed bag of results, but looks like that nothing hugely significant other than the 8 threads. Which could be just, well, 2.4%. Seems like it's significant. It's hard to tell here which one would be best here. My feeling right now is that the Jonsbo is a little bit better. I do like the performance, or well, not the performance, but the kind of the aesthetics of the Noctua cooler.